And talk about why he wasn't that great. This weekend is the 100th anniversary of his birth, so to go through all that of how great he was, especially conservatives, of course, they love Ronald Reagan. They continued using to gain popularity. The RNC is trying to make money off him by selling pictures that are $400. I mean, come on, even if you like Ronald Reagan, you can pay $400 for a picture. Go to Yahoo, type in Ronald Reagan, click on a picture and print it. Costs less than $1. If you really love Ronald Reagan. Of course, like with all historical figures, there's a great difference between the man and the myth. Reagan gave out his famous tax cuts, but then he raised taxes 11 times. He tripled the national deficit. So when someone says, "Oh, Ronald Reagan," and then they're like, "Got the deficit," they're basically saying, "I'm the biggest Yankee fan in the world, but I also like the Boston Red Sox." You can't do it. Can't do it. Can't like both of them. Can't say, "I love Ronald Reagan. I love all of Ronald Reagan's policies." And say, "I give a rip about the deficit," because you don't. You don't like both of them. You can't like both of them. They're two totally different things. It's basically contradictory. You have to pick one or the other. You say, "I care about the deficit," or "I love all of Ronald Reagan's policies." You can say, "I love some of Ronald Reagan's policies, but I hate how he tripled the deficit." But you can't say, "I love all of Ronald Reagan's policies when you know the Ronald Reagan, so we can balance the deficit." It doesn't make sense. Or you can say, "I love Ronald Reagan, I don't care about the deficit." You can say that too. At least it's logical. I don't know if it's logical or just not contradictory. After the 1981 tax cuts, which are the so-called Reagan tax cuts, unemployment jumped to worse than what it is now. It jumped to 10.7, and now charts say that we're 9.0. Talked about yesterday how those are fake. Doesn't matter. Those statistics do not matter. But anyways, unemployment was worse when he gave his tax cuts than it is now. So I think how pissed people are now and add on to that. Since Reagan, the rich have gotten richer, the poor have gotten poorer. This is well documented. I've talked about this and written about this, and millions have written about this before I have. And what this does is you can say, I don't care about income inequality. It doesn't really matter. But when the rich are getting richer and the poor are staying the same, or like they have been, or getting even lower, which the poor bracket is getting lower, and the middle class is staying the same. Goods get more expensive. You have the so-called inflation, where things that used to cost less are costing more. It's because of income inequality. And also under Reagan, this is really funny, federal spending increased and the size of government grew. So this guy who ran a campaign on government sucks, it's basically his campaign. Worst words you can hear is when somebody comes at the door and says, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." He grew the government. He didn't. That was all rhetoric. He set up a progressive tax system to help fund Social Security, which is one of the few things that I like. He helped kind of fund Social Security to keep it going. He set up a progressive tax system, which is abhorred by modern-day conservatives, even modern-day anyone in politics. You have a few libs that say, "Let's go progressive tax system," but they don't ever get elected. They run in the Green Party. And I vote for them. That's about it. And he did nothing to restrict abortion rights. Another good thing that I think. In recent news, the Grand Old Party, which drives me up the wall, the GOP, has talked about redefining rape. Basically, they're saying they were going to say, well, like if you got drugged and they slept with you when you were asleep, that's not rape. That's rape. It's not forcible rape. We're only going to cover forcible rape abortions, like because basically they passed this symbolic law in the House that said that no federal funding for abortions, which of course is already true under the Hyde Amendment under Obama. I remember Christians calling him the most radical pro-choice candidate in history. When he passed the Hyde Amendment, saying no federal funding for abortions except in cases of rape or in the danger of life of the mother. And okay, that's a compromise I can handle. Okay, that makes some sense. But the GOP was saying, well, we're going to redefine rape. We're only going to cover abortions that happened, forcible rape, not just regular old rape. It has to be forcible. And give credit to the media. The media really cracked down on them saying this, and they pulled it out. They said, we're getting too much pressure. They buckled, which is a lesson for the media. Go after them. They'll buckle. We've seen it again. And they're also trying to pass this act that's not going to require hospitals to save women's lives by terminating a baby. Evidently, like if a woman's going through birth, it's going to kill her. They can take the baby out, and the baby won't live. They'll terminate the baby, but the woman will live. It's like, that sucks. That's a terrible, terrible thing. But at least the women live, right? And the hospital is required to do this, unless the people say otherwise. They can say otherwise. Like maybe a really pro-life, quote-unquote, person says, no, don't terminate the baby if I die. Hey, whatever. That's your choice. But now the GOP is trying to force a bill where hospitals won't be forced to do this. So, real great. We're running out of time, so give Reagan some more praise. Good policies of Reagan. He helped. He worked to end nuclear weapon programs. He kind of failed, but he tried. Give him some credit there. And gave amnesty to 3 million immigrants. Would drive people up the wall on Democrats and Republicans now. But, some bad things. Reagan famously illegally funneled weapons to Iran, helped create the Taliban, Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, all for these people or groups. They're groups that Republicans and many Democrats have gone after or want to go after. So right on time, that's our show. Thanks for listening. This is The Cynical Revolution. Go to the Twitter account at twitter.com/Cynical Revolt. Follow me there. We'll get updates about the show. Follow the page on Facebook, just The Cynical Revolution. Just look it up. Go to YouTube /Cynical Revolt. You can listen to the show on there. If you're listening on YouTube, go to Blog Talk Radio /Cynical Revolt. Getting repetitive. And you can listen to all those shows in their entirety and live when I'm doing the live show.